Hey, everybody, welcome back to Living Inspired with Autism. And I'm so glad you are here today. And one of the things that I coach most of my clients on is their priorities. Now, I would say at about a rate of, let's say, 4 out of 5 people that come to me that want coaching that I work with, we talk about lack of time. And I know that's me as well. I often do that. We talk about how busy we are and how we don't have time to do all the things that we want to do. And so, one of the ways to get more time, and yes, there are ways to get more time, is to get our priorities straight. And it starts with getting crystal clear on our priorities. Now, what is a priority? Simply put, it's what's most important in your life. What should come first? But here is where it gets interesting. Let me give you a personal example. When Max was born and after he came home from the hospital, I thought my priority should be being with him 24/7. When I wasn't working, of course. Every waking moment should be about helping him and being with him, just spending the time with him, right? I was wrong. I was burning out. My health was suffering. And ironically, I wasn't even showing up well for Max because I was exhausted and resentful all the time. So I had to get honest about my priorities. Yes, Max's development and his care was important, but you know what was number one priority? That had to be for me is my own mental and emotional well-being. Because if mama's not okay, nobody's okay. And that shift changed a lot for me. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Just because something is your number one priority, it doesn't mean it gets the most time. Think about it. You probably spend most of your time working and sleeping and managing your daily life. But your health might be your top priority. And that might only need, let's say, an hour a day. The question isn't, am I spending the most time on this? It's, am I giving this enough time for what I want to create? So let me break this down. Maybe your priorities look like this. Maybe number one is your physical and mental well-being. Number two is your child's emotional safety and development. Number three, your marriage, your partnership. Number four is your work or financial stability. Number five, your extended family relationships. Now, you might spend 8 hours working, but that doesn't make work more important than your child's development just because it gets more hours. And here's where this gets really powerful. You can also prioritize within each area. So let's say your child's development is your top priority. What's your number one priority within that? Now, for many families I work with, they think it should be speech therapy or academic skills or lifestyle skills. But when we dig deeper, we discover that their real number one priority is helping their child just feel safe and regulated. Because nothing else matters if your child is constantly in fight or flight mode. So I had one mom tell me, my priority is my son's autism. And I said to her, okay, but what about your autism? What about helping him? But what about your number one priority within that? And she realized she'd been so focused on fixing behaviors that she'd lost sight of the connection. And once she made emotional connection her number one priority within his development, everything shifted for her. And the behaviors improved naturally because he felt safer. Now, here's something that I teach that gets a lot of pushback, and that is there's no such thing as balance, and we shouldn't try to achieve it. I know, everyone talks about work-life balance, but I think balance is overrated, especially for us as parents of autism. Think about it. If you try to give equal attention to everything, you just end up with a bunch of mediocre results. Everything gets just enough attention to be okay, but nothing gets enough attention to be amazing. And here's what I do instead. I choose certain times to prioritize certain things. So right now, for example, my health is not my number one priority. Now, I'm still working, I'm still taking care of Max, I'm still being a wife, but when decisions need to be made, health wins. So last year, I was focusing on our big move here to the US, and I was making sure that Max was settled and he was okay in school, and I was settling in. I was getting my medical appointments sorted out, social security number, all those things. And my health still got great care, and my business was still flowing. My marriage still mattered, but date nights may not have been as frequent. Now, the magic happens when you're intentional about these seasons. So let me give you another specific example. I worked with a family where a mom was trying to balance everything perfectly. She was trying to balance appointments and meetings and, her other kids' needs, work, marriage. She was giving everything equal attention, and it felt like she was failing at all of it. So we decided to make her marriage the number one priority just for 3 months, just 3 months. Everything else still happened, but when there was a choice between staying late at work or social obligation, her husband won. When there was a choice between researching new schools or having a date night won. And you know what happened? Her relationship with her husband improved so much. Their connection was better, and because that stress was removed, everything else got easier too. Sometimes you have to just tip the scales to create momentum. Now here's a crucial distinction: urgent versus important. Now, most of us get this backwards. We think urgent things should be done before important things. Your phone rings, that's urgent. But is answering it more important than the conversation that you're having with your child or your spouse? An email comes in, urgent. But is responding to it more important than the family time that you've planned? And I see this all the time with autism families. The school calls about a behavior incident. Urgent, agreed. But is dropping everything to have a crisis conversation more important than just taking a deep breath, regulating yourself, and responding thoughtfully? And here's what I've learned. The more urgent things you have in your life, the less planning you have done. And the less planning you have done, the less attention you've given to what's important. Okay, so here's your homework. I want you to write down your top 5 priorities. Not what you think they should be, but what you actually want them to be. And be honest, maybe your child's therapy isn't number 1, but maybe your marriage is. Maybe your own healing is. There's no wrong answer. There's only your answer. Then keep a time journal for a day and write down how you actually spend your time. And then compare them. Compare your 2 lists. Are you living in alignment with what you say is more important? What matters most? Now, here's a novel thought. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to every meeting. You don't have to respond to every email. And you don't have to attend every family gathering. You choose to do these things because they align with your priorities or because the consequences of not doing them don't align with your priorities. But when you own that these are choices, everything changes. Let me leave you with some powerful questions. If you had 6 months to live, how would your priorities change? What would matter most? When you're looking back on your life at 100 years old, what will you most regret not doing that you're currently not doing? Is it spending more present moments with your child? Is it taking better care of your own needs? Is it healing your marriage? Is it pursuing that dream that you've put on hold? Whatever it is, here is the truth. You can make it a priority starting today. When you start living in alignment with your true priorities, your life doesn't just change, it explodes into something beautiful. And I've seen it happen over and over again. You have permission to put yourself first sometimes. You have permission to say no to good things so you can say yes to great things. You have permission to tip the scales towards what matters most. Okay, thanks for joining me today on Living Inspired with Autism. If this resonated with you, share it with another parent who needs to hear this message. Until next time, keep living inspired and remember, your priorities are your choice.